and welcome to Newswatch on the 9th of February 2021. Thank you so much for choosing Hope TV, where you look and live. My name is Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Let's get you briefed on news-making headlines tonight. Now, the political parties dispute tribunal PPDT has stopped Jubilee Party from kicking out the 6 nominated senators that were kicked out yesterday. The chairperson of the tribunal, Desma Nglugu, halted their expulsion after they moved to the PPDT to challenge the move by the ruling party. The leaders, who included Millicent Omanga and Isaac Mwaura, were asked on Monday over what the party called disciplinary violations and were given time to appeal. Alice Diana tells us more.
6 nominated Jubilee senators can now breathe a sigh of relief after the political parties' disputes tribunal on Tuesday temporarily ruled in their favor and suspended the decision by Jubilee Party to expel them. The PPDT chairperson Desma Nungo has further restrained the registrar of political parties from removing the name of the senators from the membership of Jubilee Party pending hearing and determination of the case. The 6, Isaac Mwaura, Millicent Omanga, Naomi Wako, Mary Yane, Prengei Victor and Iman Falhada Diko, were expelled by the Jubilee Party National Management Committee on Monday after deliberating on the reports submitted by the Party Disciplinary Committee. A statement signed by the Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju revealed that the senators had appeared before the Disciplinary Committee last year and this year on grounds of disciplinary matters as per Article 13 of the party's constitution. Senator Isaac Mwaura filed his complaint to the PPDT separately and got his own orders on the matter, while the other senators filed their complaint jointly and also secured the same orders. Elgeyo Marakwet Senator Kipchumba Murkomen says the expelled members will continue serving as senators until their appeal is determined by the political parties' tribunal.
As long as the standing orders stand, that they are senators in the Jubilee Party, and you know the process of removing a senator is a long process. For as long as they are senators, the standing orders, when the speaker is following the standing orders, he must count all the senators of Jubilee. These are the issues of shenanigans that are happening here are not within the law. For until they are not Jubilee, until there are new senators that are coming to replace them, they are Jubilee senators. And their process of appeal still subsists. It's ongoing, and I'm sure that they are going to get the necessary remedies. The party itself has admitted via its letter that they have a right to appeal.
The cases will be mentioned on February 16th and 17th this year. For Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Alice Diana.
Now, Parliament today resumed sittings after 3 months of recess. The MPs approved the motion on the appointment of 7 members of Parliament to the House of Business Committee. Speaker Justin Muturi further issued a communication guiding the reintroduction of motions to the House. The National Assembly has so far spent 90 million Kenya shillings defending the legality of the bills passed without the inclusion of the Senate. However, Minority Leader James Orengo said that taxpayers are losing huge amounts of money over such bills.
Yes, the chair of Environmental Committee, yes, the Honorable Kareke Mbiuki.
Tuesday, and the National Assembly resumes on a high note.
Of the 5th session of the 12th Parliament,
with Speaker Justin Muturi issuing a communication guiding on the lapse and reintroduction of statements and motions to the House, as well as the way forward on pending bills and petitions.
I wish to bring to the attention of the House that, going by our practices and the standing orders, certain business that was not concluded at the end of the last session, such as motions, as well as questions and statements, which are not being reported to, has now lapsed.
The House also approved the motion on the appointment of 7 members of Parliament to the House Business Committee. The appointed members include Member of Parliament Joyce Akai, Shadrack Mose, Kawira Mwangaza, and MP Makali Mulu, among others. During the session, the National Assembly Clerk Michael Sialai said the House will prioritize the consideration and approval of the budget policy statement for the year 2021-2022 and the annual revenue bills.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
The Speaker of the National Assembly further conveyed to members that President Uhuru Kenyatta, through a memorandum, referred back the bill on employment sponsored by Gilgil MP Martha Wangari for reconsideration.
Following its passage, I did present the bill for assent to His Excellency the President in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution and our standing orders.
The members led by MP Richard Tongi Nyagaka, member for Nyaribari Chache, eulogized the former Member of Parliament for Nyaribari constituency and Cabinet Minister Simeon Nyachai, who passed away on the afternoon of Monday, 1st February 2021, while undergoing treatment at the Nairobi Hospital.
Kipipiri to send my condolences to the family of the late Simeon Nyachai and the great people of Kisii, the Kisii that he represented, and indeed the entire people of Kenya who he served with dedication in his time through the provincial administration as well as the in Parliament and in Cabinet.
The National Assembly has so far spent 90 million shillings defending the legality of the bills passed without the inclusion of the Senate.
Honorable Senators, it is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you to the 5th session of Senate.
In the Senate Assembly, Minority Leader James Orengo said that taxpayers are losing a lot of money by defending the legality of the bills passed without inclusion of the Senate.
Many bills have been republished, including some that have been assented to and were rendered unconstitutional by the High Court. So all those bills are going to come back here.
Parliament resumes on Wednesday, 10th of February 2021. Mark Kimundo for Hope TV, Nairobi.
A Kiambu court has released former Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko on a 300,000 cash bond with a surety of the same amount in his case over assault, robbery with violence and malicious damage to property. The case is in relation to an incident that happened on May 25th, 2019 at Buruburu Phase 4 in Nairobi. Later on, the ex-governor proceeded to Kahawa Law Courts for the hearing of an application for his detention for 30 days to allow investigations into his alleged links to terror activities. Our reporter Dolly Muringi now reports.
Former Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko for the last 1 week has been mixed up between police cells and courtrooms over several charges against him by the state and is now a free man after he was granted bond. The court say the prosecution failed to produce evidence enough to warrant a denial of Sonko's release, considering that he had earlier denied several counts of assault contrary to Section 251 of the Penal Code. The prosecution argued that the former county chief is a flight risk and may fail to appear in court when summoned, but the chief magistrate noted that no material was presented to court to support this claim.
The accused person declined to have his fingerprints taken contrary to Section 55 of the National Police Service Act, so that this, in their view, calls for investigations and prosecution. That this reason does not feature in the subject affidavit because it is a matter of law and not fact.
On the likelihood that he will interfere with witnesses, Kiambu Chief Magistrate Stella Tambo faulted the prosecution for failing to demonstrate such interference or intimidation either by the way of an affidavit from any of the intended prosecution witnesses.
Other than interference, there is also a likelihood of intimidation of these witnesses leading to a subversion of justice. In their detailed submissions, the prosecution also points out that the accused person wields a lot of power in Nairobi County since he was a governor and the single elected person other than the president with the highest number of votes. Hence, he must be kept within the straitjacket of the law.
The magistrate further said the ex-governor cannot be considered a threat to public order, peace and security since the Director of Public Prosecution failed to produce evidence to support them.
The court has exercised its discretion in granting bond bail terms in place, whether with the option of a cash bail or not. The court also has the power to review and or vary the terms, but the accused person must at least demonstrate that he has made an attempt or effort to raise the same and has failed to do so. For now, the bond terms in place remain as they are. On the issue of pretrial dates to come back to court, at the first instance of grant of bond bail terms, it is presumed that the accused person is in custody until he raises the same.
The court told Sonko that he must cooperate with the investigation officer and heed to someone as required, with the court scheduled the pretrial of the case to February 23, 2021.
I have the ability as the trial court that has granted bond bail at the first instance to vary, review upon such application, but I decline that application.
From the Kiambu court, the former governor proceeded to the Kahawa Law Courts for the hearing of an application for his detention for 30 days to allow investigation into his alleged links to terror activities. Two medics attended to him as the proceedings went on, as his lawyers told the court that he was unwell and was rushed to Nairobi Hospital on Tuesday morning. The ex-governor needed more time in hospital for further examination. The court ordered Sonko to be escorted by the anti-terror police unit officers to Nairobi Hospital in an ambulance to continue with treatment. The court has also directed that the detailed information from the doctors treating Sonko to be brought in court on Wednesday at 10 a.m. in his absence. The custody application will be heard when Sonko gets discharged from hospital. Dolly Mirigi for Hope TV News Watch.
And Deputy President William Ruto has condemned leaders who are branding President Uhuru Kenyatta a tribal leader. Ruto, who spoke during the burial of Thika Town MP Patrick Wainaina's mother, said the presidency was a symbol of national unity and it was uncalled for to say Uhuru was only representing a faction of the population. Ruto went ahead to speak of his respect and love for the president, recounting how much he has campaigned for him in the 2013 and 2017 general elections. Grace Wangoi has more details.
Former Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko for the last 1 week has been mixed up between police cells and courtrooms over several charges against him by the state and is now a free man after he was granted bond. The court say the prosecution failed to produce evidence enough to warrant a denial of Sonko's release, considering that he had earlier denied several counts of assault contrary to Section 251 of the Penal Code. The prosecution had argued that the former county chief is a flight risk and may fail to appear in court when summoned, but the chief magistrate noted that no material was presented to court to support this claim.
The accused person declined to have his fingerprints taken, contrary to Section 55 of the National Police Service Act, so that this, in their view, calls for investigations and prosecution. That this reason does not feature in the subject affidavit because it is a matter of law and not fact.
On the likelihood that he will interfere with witnesses, Kiambu Chief Magistrate Stella Tambo faulted the prosecution for failing to demonstrate such interference or intimidation either by the way of an affidavit from any of the intended prosecution witnesses.
Other than interference, there is also a likelihood of intimidation of these witnesses leading to a subversion of justice. In their detailed submissions, the prosecution also points out that the accused person wields a lot of power in Nairobi.
Mimi nawauliza nyinyi watu wa hapa Kiambu, si hapa ni nyumbani?
We apologize for that technical hitch. Let's take that story once again. Deputy President William Ruto has condemned leaders who are branding President Uhuru Kenyatta a tribal leader. Ruto, who spoke during the burial of Thika Town MP Patrick Wainaina's mother, said the presidency was a symbol of national unity and it was uncalled for to say that the president only represented a faction of the population. Ruto went ahead to speak of his respect and love for the president, recounting how he has campaigned for Uhuru during the 2013 and 2017 general elections. Grace Wangoi brings us that report.
Mimi nauliza nyinyi, kuna mtu amefanya campaign ya Uhuru Kenyatta Kenya mzima kuliko mimi?
As usual, politics took center stage at the burial of the late Thika Town MP Patrick Wainaina's mother. The Deputy President William Ruto, who was among the leaders who graced the event, expressing his deep respect for his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta. His speech will take another unusual turn when he began to express his love for President Kenyatta, despite the political relationship between the two turning sore after Uhuru's handshake with ODM party leader Raila Odinga.
Ati hamupendwi. Mimi nataka niwaambie tunawapenda sana. Tunawapenda ajabu. Na ndio sababu tulimobilize dunia mzima. Mheshimiwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta amepigiwa kura na watu wa Kenya mzima kutoka pembe zote za Kenya. Na mimi nataka niwahakikishie that is the bedrock. Rais ni rais wetu sisi wote Kenya mzima. Mimi nawaomba kama wananchi na viongozi wa sehemu hii, tafadhali msitunyang'anye rais ati akuwe mtu ya Mount Kenya peke yake. Hapana. Sasa mkisema rais ni kiongozi wa sehemu hii peke yake, na sisi kiongozi wetu ni nani?
Heated remarks were exchanged across the political divide after President Kenyatta called for rotational presidency, remarks that elicited mixed reactions from Tanga faction, with many accusing Kenyatta of propagating tribalism.
Sasa kidogo mheshimiwa jangu tuambiane ukweli. Mimi hii kitu inaitwa ukweli ile ambayo mama tumesomoa hapa. Na mimi niko katika hii historia bado. Sijatoka nje ya historia. Hii kitu inaitwa ukweli ambayo mama yetu alikuwa anapenda imeadimika sana hapa Kenya. Imekuwa chache sana. Mnaona rafiki yangu mwingine anaitwa Kang'ata, hata leo ameondolewa kitini sababu ya ukweli ambao mama alikuwa anapenda.
During the burial, Ruto asked politicians not to diminish President Kenyatta's profile to that of a Mount Kenya leader and admonished such remarks, saying it was unfortunate that a section of leaders were branding the president a tribal leader.
Mimi nawauliza kwa unyenyekevu. Rais ni wenu kwa kuzaliwa, lakini ni wetu sisi wote kama Kenya. Ni kiongozi wetu sisi zote. Ni kama mimi siwezi kuwa sasa ati mimi ni kiongozi ya watu ya Rift Valley. Mimi ni naibu wa rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Na hivyo ndivyo tunataka Kenya iweze kwenda mbele. Tukipanga mambo ya Kenya, tunapanga mambo ya Wakenya wote. Na tunataka tushirikiane.
At the same time, Ruto asked leaders to shun tribal politics and serve Kenyans irrespective of their ethnicity. Grace Songoi, Hope TV News Watch.
Moving on, the Kenya Defence Forces recruitment exercise, which began on Monday, is well underway in the counties of Nandi and Lamu. Huge turnout of youths was experienced in both counties, with over 3,000 youths turning up in Nandi and a further 1,000 in Lamu. According to the officer in charge of the recruitment in Nandi, most youths who have turned up have been sent back as the details on their birth certificate do not match their KCSE certificate. The entire recruitment exercise, which should take place in all the counties, will see 4,400 capable men and women get recruited.
Kwanza watu wako friendly, wametuwelcome vizuri, wameanza na maombi na tukaanza exercise. Exercise iko sawa kabisa. Sisi tumefanyishwa drill na wakatuchukua kwa kuangalia fitness ya mtu. Na sisi pia tukaproof ya kwamba tunaweza. Tumechukuliwa kwa sababu hakuna kitu wao wanaomba, hakuna pesa mimi nimetoa na nimechukuliwa. Mimi nashukuru sana kuungana na KDF sababu ni mahali pazuri pa kukua.
Challenges zile tumeona ni kwamba vijana wako na birth certificate, lakini unakuta birth certificate, majina yale yako kwa birth certificate hayaambatani na yale majina yako kwa certificate yenyewe. At the same time unakuta kuna certificate iko majina mawili, alafu upande mwingine the certificate ya KCSE iko na majina matatu. Sasa hiyo pia technically ina knock mtoto out, badala angepata kazi. So ninaomba administration kama inawezekana watu wawe sensitized, wajue ya kwamba either waweke majina matatu kulingana na vile inatakikana ama majina mawili ili yaambatane kwa certificate ya kuzaliwa na ile certificate ya KCSE.
Back to politics, the Jubilee Party has resolved to remove Murang'a Senator Irungu Kang'ata as Senate Majority Whip, replacing him with Kiambu Senator Kimani Wamatangi. Jubilee Party Secretary General Raphael Tuju made the announcement after a parliamentary group meeting in Nairobi, with Kang'ata being accused of being disloyal to the party. Our current affairs reporter Dickens Luvanda has been following up on this report.
Murang'a Senator Irungu Kang'ata is the latest casualty in the ruling Jubilee Party to be dethroned off his position in the Senate, where he was serving as the chief whip, with his position being taken over by the Kiambu Senator Kimani Wamatangi. Now, this comes just the same day as Parliament resumes its fifth session after 3 months of recess. The ruling Jubilee Party's Secretary General Raphael Tuju on Tuesday announced that the party had arrived at a unanimous decision to whip Kang'ata after considering a series of issues raised against him, including breach of confidentiality to the party and failure to honor party summons.
We've had a resolution that Mr. Irungu Kang'ata ceases to be the Jubilee chief whip in the Senate, and he's replaced by Senator Wamatangi.
Kang'ata was kicked out of the position, which was previously held by Nakuru Senator Susan Kihika, before her removal in 2020, following a Jubilee Party parliamentary group meeting at the KICC in Nairobi County, a meeting that was attended by the invited only and chaired by Tuju.
We had members of the Senate from the Jubilee Party, you can say half because I'm told they are half in another party, who came to express their disapproval of that decision. We gave them the chance to articulate their position in a very civil manner. They had a right to be heard, but the majority of us, of the Senate rather, because I'm not a member of the Senate, the majority of the Senate members of the Jubilee Party Alliance had their way.
For me, I serve as a leader. I serve with whoever is coming to replace Kang'ata. We continue to serve in the House the same way that we've served with Kang'ata. This is not a situation that is strange to Kenyan politics. I mean, we know that if loyalty is a test, the party decides.
The SG dismissed Kang'ata's claims that his removal was as a result of a letter he sent to President Uhuru Kenyatta in January, alerting him that the BBI referendum push was unpopular in central Kenya, Kenyatta's home turf.
In the worst case scenario where this seat actually moves to another person, I will be gracious. I will remain a person who respects everyone, and therefore I will not insult anyone.
But in a most unfortunate way, he decided to discuss what we discussed in closed meetings outside to the media. That was his biggest failure as far as leadership is concerned. You don't kiss and tell.
The very fact I have been able to reach here to lead the Senate, notwithstanding my age, the fact that my parents are just poor mechanics. Hustlers. Yeah, in Murang'a town. So I thank God.
Flanked by a section of senators affiliated to the Deputy President William Ruto, Kang'ata was maintained that he is still the Senate Majority Chief Whip, likened his troubles to those of Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego and Daniel in the Holy Bible, saying that his only mistake was telling the truth to his party leader, the president.
The Bible tells us that the truth shall set us free.
Exactly.
The Bible also tells us Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were thrown in the fire, but they never get burned.
And we want to say here that without any fear of contradiction, that this Jubilee Senate team, those who have been chased from various committees, those who have been chased from leadership, we are now more than those who have remained. And now we are going, it's a very sad story of Jubilee. Those who are out are more than those who are in. Because we have an existing caucus, we are going to accommodate Senator Mwaura and Senator Kang'ata, and perhaps we will even make Kang'ata a leader of our caucus now.
Kang'ata's removal and replacement by Kiambu Senator Kimani Wamatangi now awaits ratification by the Senate. President Uhuru Kenyatta's ruling Jubilee Party continues to crack whip on defiant members, with Irungu Kang'ata, the senator from Murang'a County, becoming the latest casualty after he was dethroned of his position in the Senate, where he was the chief whip of the party. Dickens Luvanda, Hope TV News.
On that note, let's take our first commercial break on News Watch tonight. We have much more news coming your way, so keep it Hope TV.
De Beneficius Messiah. That's the nickname of Psalm 117 when the author says, "Praise the Lord and laud him." Why should we praise the Lord? The Jewish doctors tell us that that chapter was written to be a benefit of the Christos and the coming Mashiach. And indeed, Paul referred to Jesus in 1 Timothy 6:2 as the benefit. John 4:10 refers to Jesus as the gift of God. Haggai refers to Jesus, the coming Messiah, as the desire of all nations. And Luke 2 refers to Jesus as being great tidings of joy to all people. So too, I want to encourage you that the Christ dimension can live through you so that you no longer live, but now you have the gift, the benefit, the desire of all nations, and the glad tidings of great joy manifested through you when you simply put your faith and trust in the Father who sent his Son to image him to the world. By faith, the Christ dimension will be manifested through you too.
Angry president, a betrayed deputy president, and a burdened citizen.
The spirit of BBI, we are losing it.
How do we end up with immoral people leading the moral?
Candid talk.
At the core of our being, we are spiritual.
How should the church at this particular time show leadership?
As long as God is not done with us, or he's not pleased with our repentance or our turning to him, we may still continue suffering the consequences.
Bold approach.
Whatever you bind on earth is bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth is loose. Become a son. Your life and your well-being is completely dependent on God and his power.
Spotlight. Hope TV is where you look and live, offering some of the best family entertainment programs with Christian movies, in-depth discussions, contemporary Christian worship, and testimony programs. Hope TV provides the life-transforming message of Jesus Christ. We deliver inspirational, informational, and motivational programming with special guests and unmatched teaching. When it comes to watching television, tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at COVID numbers today. 104 people have tested positive to the disease out of a sample size of 3,348 tested in the last 24 hours. The total confirmed positive cases are now 102,048. The cumulative tests so far conducted are 1,220,043. Fortunately, 69 patients have recovered from the disease, 37 from various health facilities, while 32 are from the home-based care and isolation centers. Total recoveries now stand at 84,542. Unfortunately, 3 patients have succumbed to the disease, pushing the cumulative fatality to 1,789. 368 patients are currently admitted in various health facilities countrywide, while 1,315 are on home-based isolation and care. 37 patients are in the intensive care unit, 13 of whom are on ventilatory support and 21 on supplemental oxygen. 3 patients are under observation. The distribution of cases by counties for the top 10 is as follows. Nairobi leads with 68, Laikipia 7, Kiambu and Uasin Gishu 6, Siaya and Nakuru 3, Kisumu and Nandi and Machakos 2, and Kajiado 1. Now, Inspector General of Police Hilary Mutyambai has decried the violation of Ministry of Health rules and regulations in fighting COVID-19 by Kenyans. In a statement on Tuesday, Mutyambai said some of the violations include holding of unauthorized public gatherings where there is no observance of social distance, failure to observe curfew hours by business operators and individuals, overcrowding in public service vehicles, and failure to wear face masks. The IG directed all commanders to ensure strict enforcement of the Ministry of Health COVID-19 protocols and regulations in fighting COVID-19. The Ma pastoralist community living at Narok, Tanzania border have been asked to continue adhering to regulations set by the government to curb the spread of COVID-19. Speaking during a public baraza at Ilkerin area in Loita Ward, Narok Governor Samuel Oletunai reminded the residents that the disease was real and could spread easily in their midst if they did not take precautions. Tunai lamented that the virus has severely affected the tourism sector, observing that the county mainly depends on tourism for its economic growth.
Corona bado ipo na imeua watu wengi sana katika dunia, Marekani, huko Europe na sehemu zingine, na imeleta hasara kubwa. Hata sisi huko mbuga ya Masai Mara, kwa hiyo muda yote hakuna wageni kwa sababu ya ugonjwa huu ya corona. Kama kaunti tulichukua hatua, tumejenga hospitali huko Lulunga ambaye wagonjwa wote wa hiyo ugonjwa wameweza kupata matibabu. Ile ningetaka kusema ya kwamba mkiwa mpaka wetu wa Tanzania na tunataka uhusiano mzuri na ndugu zetu wa Tanzania, tuendelee kujichunga, kuvaa mask, kukeep hiyo distance. Ngawa naona leo atukip ili kuona ya kwamba tumezuia hiyo ugonjwa kwa sababu ipo.
To Mandera, the two warring communities of Gare and Murule in Mandera County that have been in constant conflict have agreed to bury the hatchet and live in peace. The signing of the deal happened after a meeting that brought together top officials from the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, NCIC, as well as government and county officers. It was resolved that either of the communities alleged to have atrocities against the other party, they will be fined up to 350 camels or an equivalent value in cash. NCIC has further ordered that all stolen properties must be returned within 2 weeks. NCIC chairperson Reverend Dr. Samuel Kobia said for peace to prevail, all communities must agree to work together and put their differences aside.
The two communities are at liberty to agree whether the compensation will be by camels or the price of the camels. This compensation is to be paid over a period of 3 years, commencing from the date of issue of these resolutions. There are also claims of property that was seized or looted during the clashes and which is currently in possession of both communities. Both communities acknowledged these claims. Thus, it was resolved that all looted or seized property shall be returned to the rightful.
Ile process tunaanzia leo, tutashirikiana nanyi na tutaendelea mpaka hii amani iwe sustainable and durable.
And the County Assembly of Kakamega has been asked to unanimously pass the Building Bridges Initiative Constitutional Amendment Bill 2020. Governor Wycliffe Oparanya has told the MCAs that the initiative will bring development to the county if passed.
Mimi nitasukuma County Assembly yangu ipitishe kule Kakamega, alafu iwende kwa Parliament kule Nairobi. Ikitoka Nairobi itakuja hapa kwa wananchi. Nikifika kwa wananchi nitakuwa hapa mwenyewe kuambia yale yako mazuri na yale yako mabaya. Iwezi kuwa 100% perfect, lakini mazuri ikiwa zaidi ya mabaya tunasukuma tuendelee mbele. Na hiyo itakuwa na wakati wake ambao nitafika hapa Nabakolo, mahali popote, na tuone vile tutapitisha hiyo BBI. Na mambo mengine, siasa ikianza sasa na mahali pa kuangalia utasimama wapi, mrengo gani ndio inaweza kusaidia watu wetu. Lakini mimi nataka watu wa Kakamega tuchikane pamoja, kwa sababu sisi ndio tuko wengi katika Western. Hatuwezi kuwa wengi, lakini watu wengine wanakuja wanataka wachukue kama Kakamega haina watu.
Across borders, scientists behind the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine say it should still protect against the worst potential consequences of COVID-19 after a study suggested it had a limited effect, against the South African variant of the disease. South Africa yesterday put its rollout of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine on hold after a study showed disappointing results against its new COVID variant. Scientists say the variant accounts for 90% of new COVID cases in South Africa. The trial involving some 2,000 people found that the vaccine offered minimal protection against mild and moderate cases. However, experts are hopeful that the vaccine will still be effective at preventing severe cases.
I'm confident we'll meet our mid-February target of the top 4 cohorts. I'm also confident because I have enough line of sight of the deliveries that are coming through that we'll also meet the 1 to 9 cohorts by May, and we'll say more about that next week when we hit the first target, I hope.
Internationally, in the U.S., former President Donald Trump's second impeachment trial has begun in the U.S. Senate. This is the first time a president has gone on trial after leaving office. He faces a single charge of incitement of insurrection in a speech to supporters ahead of a deadly riot at the U.S. Capitol on 6th January. Trump's legal team has called the trial absurd and unconstitutional on the basis that he has already left office. Democrats laying out the case for the prosecution dispute this, saying he should be held accountable. Both sides will present arguments on the legality of the trial with a vote to whether to proceed. Trump made history last month by becoming the first president to be charged with misconduct twice by the lower chamber of Congress. He is not expected to attend the Senate trial in person. Rescue mission is underway in northern India after a piece of a glacier fell into a river and triggered a huge flood. The floodwaters burst open a dam and a huge amount of water poured through a valley in the state of Uttarakhand. Hundreds of troops and military helicopters have been sent to the region to help with rescue efforts. Officials say 25 people have been rescued so far, but at least 14 people are dead and 150 are still missing as experts are trying to determine what caused the glacier to break. Leaders from across the world, including UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, have sent their condolences to families affected. Now take a short break. We'll be back with business news.
Only God can turn a mess into a message.
I have a boy on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I'm still preaching on the pulpit.
Amen.
Niliona mguu ya nyuma inakuja tu kunikanyaga, imenilenga tu kwa tumbo. Nikaitana tu Jesus.
I got tired of working with the x-ray papers, and one day I just woke up and decided to burn them.
A test into a testimony.
The whole community didn't want to hear that anybody is born again. Excommunicated straight.
Bila Yesu hakuna njia.
Join Sharon Naitore Wangenye on Testify.
Katika hiyo harakati hiyo spirit ikakemewa, mimi nimeona Yesu Kristo namna hii. Kwa msalaba. Opa. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Every Thursday at 8 p.m. for a moment to grow your faith some more.
Events, news, Africa, the world, our past, our future. Catch all this and more on Africa's Moment with Pete Ondeng.
Is there really a future of hope for Africa? To believe or not to believe, that is the question. Who holds the key to Africa's escape from the dungeons of poverty and backwardness?
Every Wednesday, right here on Hope TV at 8 p.m.
Welcome to Activate.
It's a good morning. Good morning.
Kickstart your day with George and Kerry on the Sweet Hour of Prayer.
And welcome to Activate, this being the station where you listen and live Hope FM.
From Nairobi to the world.
Great music just for you.
Activate.
The only show that keeps you activated.
Yes, indeed.
Activate every weekday morning from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Only on Hope FM, where you listen and live.
Welcome back to Business News. Kenya Ports Authority's second East Africa Maritime Awards ceremony is scheduled to take place on May 21st, 2021 in Mombasa County. The awards, which seek to recognize and award notable users of the Port of Mombasa and individual players, are open to companies from across the breadth of the maritime sector, comprising the shipping, ports, services, engineering and leisure marine industries, with operations in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, South Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Speaking in Mombasa, Kenya Ports Authority Managing Director Engineer Rashid Salim said the awards had come at a time the local, regional and global economies were facing a period of significant challenges following the outbreak of the coronavirus pandemic. Organized in partnerships with the Kenya Maritime Authority, Kenya Revenue Authority, Kenya Trade Network Agency, Shippers Council of Eastern Africa and East African Business Council, EAMA seeks to promote excellence in service delivery and adoption of best practices, appreciate exceptional contribution to the industry and regional economies, encourage innovation and healthy competition among regional industry players, and improve overall performance of the sector. The awards have been grouped into 9 clusters based on their maritime functionality and service offering, with a total of 27 distinct categories. And the Communications Authority of Kenya, CA, has, in partnership with local telecommunication service providers, launched an interactive portal aimed at creating a safer online environment for children. The microsite development, in collaboration with Safaricom, Airtel, Telcom Kenya, Jamii Telecommunication Limited, and the Global System for Mobile Communications, will provide online safety tips for children and guardians. Melissa Oduor tells us more.
All new virtual world with new dangers, challenges, and obstacles.
The launch of the interactive portal comes against a backdrop of increased cyber threats recorded in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, which has created a new frontier for cyber criminals. According to the Communications Authority of Kenya, statistics for the quarter ending December 2020, the National Computer Incident Response Team Coordination Center detected more than 56 million cyber threats in the country. A majority of the threats were malware attacks at 46 million, followed by web application attacks at 7.8 million, while 2.2 million distributed denial of service DDoS threats were detected during the same period.
With an estimated 1 in 3 of all internet users in the world today being below the age of 18, and with the growing availability of technologies and new services, children and young people are facing increased safety risks when they go online. This site will be home to exciting online safety tips for children and parents. It also has a gaming component that enables both the young and the young at heart to measure their level of awareness on online risks.
The ICT Ministry, headed by the Cabinet Secretary John Musheru, expressed fears on possible increase in the volume of cybercrime in the country in the lead up to the upcoming BBI referendum and the 2022 general elections, and urged the CA to boost its detection and monitoring capacity to mitigate the risk.
Ensuring that the internet is better and safer for all is not the work of the government alone, but a responsibility of each one of us gathered here today.
Safaricom's Chief Corporate Affairs Officer Stephen Shege, on behalf of the We Care initiative, noted that they look forward to further deepening collaboration to consistently enhance safety and availability of the internet, as well as other pertinent challenges facing the industry.
Together with other industry players, we are proud to hand over this interactive website to the Communications Authority for them to continue to share online safety tips for children and parents throughout the country. The site will enable more collaboration with other child online protection partners over the world, as it has links to other resources for child online protection from other providers throughout the world.
Safer Internet Day began as an initiative of the European Union Safe Borders project in 2004 and is today celebrated in close to 130 countries around the world.
Let's give them a warm round of applause as they hand over.
And Kenya Electricity Generating Company, PLC, has today paid the national government 1.15 billion in dividends for the financial year ended June 2019. The National Treasury and Planning Cabinet Secretary, Ambassador Ukuri Atani, Mwadhede also received the check from Kengen Board Chairman General Retired Samson Mwadhede. Also present during the check presentation ceremony held at the National Treasury was Kengen Managing Director and CEO Rebecca Miano. The National Treasury CS lauded Kengen's positive financial performance, adding that as government they were proud to be associated with the company. The government owns 70% stake at Kengen, while 30% is owned by private shareholders. CS Yatani noted that as the country's leading energy producer, Kengen was a major player in the government's effort towards the country's growth and development. For the year ended June 2020, Kengen announced a 13.9 billion Kenya shillings profit before tax. The board has recommended a first and final dividend for the year of 30 cents per ordinary share of 250 Kenya shillings, which will be paid to shareholders once ratified in the next annual general meeting. That is the AGM.
And the funds that the check that we're going to give out today will be applied in the critical areas that's going to support the mitigation on COVID and other challenges that has been brought by COVID. And these are mainly in the social sectors. We are undertaking a number of investments in the social sector, mainly health. If we now go to visit a number of places in Nairobi, we are undertaking investments. We're establishing a number of health facilities, several health facilities in all the informal sectors, settlement. And they only depend on the exchequer. But now with the boost of this support, we'll be expanding more and realizing more development and generally contribute to the welfare and the betterment of our people.
Thank you all for joining us today on this special occasion. It is not every day that we gather to hand over such a significant amount of dividend to a shareholder. We are indeed honored to pay the government Kenya shillings 1.1 billion in dividend for the financial year that ended 30th June 2019. Looking at our performance for the year 2018 financial year, Kengen paid out Kenya shillings 2.6 billion in dividend, while in 2019 we paid 1.65 billion to our shareholders. At Kengen, we would like to emphasize that we're keen on supporting the government to deliver its development programs through Vision 2030 and the Big Four agenda. We will continue to focus on power capacity expansion to meet the national demand. This will be done through our geothermal-led good to great strategy to deliver clean and renewable energy.
My apologies on that story. The board has recommended a first and final dividend for the year of 30 cents per ordinary share of 2 shillings and 50 cents, which will be paid to shareholders once ratified in the next annual general meeting. Well, that's it. That's all we had for you on Newswatch tonight. My name is Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Thank you so much for keeping us company thus far. For now, have a good night. God bless you.